Welcome to A Funny Feeling Podcast. I'm Betsy Sidaro.
And I'm Marcy Jarrow. This is a podcast where comedians tell us their paranormal experiences, and we listen to yours as well.
Oh, yeah. And if you have one of these paranormal experiences that you want to share with us, please email it to us at funnyfeelingpod@gmail.com.
Now get cozy.
And prepare yourself to be scared silly.
This is a Funny Feeling Podcast. Hello, Betsy.
Hello, Marcy.
Yes.
Yes.
It's so fun. We have, well, I'll tell our guests really quick. We've been lazy for a few years and we weren't booking guests, and now we are, and it's really invigorating.
It's fun. Right? It's nice. I like it.
It's so fun. And we're so excited because this is a chance where we've never met, and we're so excited to have you.
So pumped.
Our guest is the voice of Pam Poovey on Archer, and also the host of RePHRSING, an Archer podcast. Welcome, Amber Nash.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
What
you
a
totally
pleasure.
should be doing guests because then it's less work for you guys to do.
Absolutely. We don't even have to read anything.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah,
It's the most
I
fun.
don't want to read anything. Amber, thank you for being here. I love Archer, by the way.
Thank you.
I love that show so
Thanks.
much. It's so funny. It's so great.
We got so lucky for so
What a
long. And I had,
dream.
honestly, I think the funniest character on the show. So I got, like, really super lucky.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I was the only person that was, like, not a famous person that was cast on the show. I still am like, you guys had to have asked other people to do this. And they just said no. And they're like, no, you were our first choice. And I was like, really?
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome, though,
It's
because you're the
so
best.
cool. What a dream. Oh,
Yeah.
killed it. You kill it, too. Oh, it's so
Thanks.
And then you have an Archer recap show, right?
Yeah.
Smart.
So
Our
the
podcast.
show Archer ended. Let's see. It's been like almost 2 years that Archer went off the air. So it was at the end of 2023. Was when the last episode aired, and
Wow.
then I was like 2024. I was like, what am I gonna do? I mean, obviously my phone's just gonna be ringing off the hook for people wanting to give me voiceover work, right?
Hollywood. Oh,
And
yeah.
that's not what happened. So I was like, maybe I should start a podcast. And then I reached out to the cast and I was like, would you guys be interested? And everybody was like, totally. And so I do the legwork with a couple other producers that are guys that also worked on Archer. Casey Willis, who was an executive producer, and then Christian Danley, who was an editor on the show. And Christian and I work at the same theater company in Atlanta also, a theater called Dad's Garage. So I've known him like for decades before I even worked on Archer. So it's the three of us, and then we have guests on that were from the main cast. And we're also now reaching out this season to do guests that weren't in all episodes, but we're on a few episodes. Like hopefully one day we'll get Christian Slater on.
Yes.
There's so many great people that were on the show. Yeah.
Cool.
Fun. That's so fun.
That is so much fun.
Yeah, it's really great. And it's nice to be able to reconnect with everybody, you know, because we haven't seen them in a while. And when we did the show, we didn't work together. Like, we all recorded separately because we were all in different cities. And so I always say that we all really like each other because we never had to work together. So after 14 years, we're still like, oh, I'm still getting to know you.
Yeah. That's so funny.
It is like the funny thing about animation is that, like, I'm sure a lot of people don't know it. And I just worked on my first animated series that I was like as a writer, and I was like, oh, so they're just never like, everyone is so lucky that it matches up, that it works perfectly.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, so much of the work is the editors. Like, they really are the magic that, like, makes it sound like everybody's in the same room together and, like, puts the exact right amount of breath in between lines. Like, it really is, like, a magic what they're doing to make all that work.
It's so awesome. It's so cool.
The voice directors who remember the takes from other actors that they liked, and maybe that was a month ago that they even got them.
Totally.
It's magic.
Yeah.
It really is.
Crazy. Because I know, like, for us, we would the animation would happen after we recorded, and some shows, I think more movies actually, do all the animation first and then record the actors, so the actors have to really stick to what's happening with like the lip flap and everything. But for us, like, we got to just screw around, and then they animated based on what they chose.
Yeah.
So we didn't even have the hard kind of voice work. We had it super easy.
Yeah. That's so awesome.
And the fun kind too.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, yeah. Well, we're going to start by asking the same question we ask all of our guests, which is, what, if anything, do you believe about the paranormal?
Okay. So for me, guys, I want it to be true. I so want it to be, I want all of it. You know, like, I love ghost stories. I love spooky things. But I personally have never had an encounter. You know, I've had like, that's weird, or, you know, things like not quite being normal. But I've never had like, truly, this was a paranormal experience, or like a haunting experience, or anything like that. And I also am like, there's no possible way, even with things like outside of paranormal stuff, but like aliens and stuff, it's like, I fully believe that there's no way we possibly know everything. So it's like, why couldn't this be something that's true that I just haven't experienced? And I don't know that I would want to experience it. I'm like, could I handle experiencing a haunting? I don't know. Yeah, so I've had like some things that have happened around me, but never personally had anything that I was just like, oh shit, I've just been haunted.
Whoa. Yeah. I always wonder, like, I've had one experience, but I am like, what would I do if I saw something?
Yes.
I've never seen it. Like, what would I not, like, would I just kind of like turn into like, just like,
Just
like
melt
what
into a
would
puddle.
happen?
Yeah, what, did you lose your mind?
Yeah, is like, you know, so many people talk about how like people are more like open to these kinds of things, like people that are more like psychically open, and I'm like, I don't ever want to like be so into it that I like open the door to be like one of those people. But I'm sure you guys experience that with guests all the time, where it's just like, or stories, it's like some people just are open and plugged in a different way than like a regular person is.
Oh,
Yep.
for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we have quite a few guests who are like, I don't believe, but here's this, and this that happened to me. And it's just kind of like, okay.
Wow.
Okay.
What will it take to get them to believe?
I know. One of our guests and one of my best friends, Mono, he has like 2 great ghost stories.
Like,
and is still
like the craziest story. We talk about it all the time when people ask me, what is the craziest story? It's Mono's story of seeing this like monster in a doorway of his brother-in-law's house in Greece, right?
Yeah.
And it's like an ancient house, like 1,000 years old, right? Like, it's like, am I wrong, or?
No, yeah, probably. It's old.
Yeah, that it's like this really, really, really old house. And from what I understood, like, was there an outhouse? Like, the bathroom was out of the home,
it was just
kind
old. It was old as shit.
Yeah. And that, like, he saw this monster that was, like, filled up the doorway with knuckles dragging the ground, like, just huge. And then told his brother-in-law about it, and the brother-in-law is like, oh, yeah. And then found, like...
Pulls out a drawing from when he was a kid.
Shut
and he was
up,
like,
it
was
looks
it
exactly
this
like
guy? And Mono's like, that's it? Yeah. And Mono is still like, I don't know, though, I don't know. I don't think I believe it. It's like, Mono!
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It's like, that's your proof right there, is that your brother drew a picture of this guy.
Yes. Come on.
Like, before you met. Like, this was, like, so crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then... Still a little skeptical, though, right?
Yeah. And there's actually both of the guys that are on the podcast with me, Christian and Casey, they both have ghost stories. They should have been on the podcast.
Well, they can be sometime, but tell their stories for them. Who cares?
I will.
Yes.
I don't mind. Casey actually told this story on our podcast, because there used to be, when Archer first was getting made, they made a show before that was on Adult Swim in Atlanta, because all that stuff is based in Atlanta, Turner and all that stuff. And so they worked out of this crappy little house in East Atlanta that was like literally like it was horrifying. And so it was just an empty room when you walked in, and just like 5 dudes with desks, like, you know, making cartoons in this smelly, like dilapidated house. And then in the back of the house, they made a booth, for like a sound booth that was today, like now as an adult, I'm like, there's no way I would be able to get in that booth. But when I was like 25 and like desperate for an acting job, I'd open the door. It was an old closet. You'd open the door. You'd close the door behind you, and then there was another exterior door they would close and lock you in. I'm like, there is no fucking way.
You don't need a lock. We don't need a lock.
No, right? It's like the lock doesn't help with sound.
No. Yeah, nothing's leaking in through that little part. Come on.
Exactly. And so anyway, it was just like a creepy old house. And so I don't even know how old it is and how long it's been there, but probably since like the 20s, I'm assuming. And so Casey was telling the story that he was learning how to do editing. So one of the guys who like started the company, who was actually the creator of Archer, Adam, I think, was teaching him how to do some editing. So he stayed there late one night after everybody was gone, and he was doing some editing. And he said, this is so crazy. He said that he looks up, so he's like in it, editing's like takes so much intense like focus. So he's in it, he's doing editing, and he looks up and he turns to his right, and he is sitting next to himself.
Oh my God.
There's just another Casey sitting there.
What?
That's
ew.
Yeah. And then Casey said that he was just like,
horrified.
okay. And then he just like got his shit together and got out of there. And he's like, it never happened again. Maybe I was like hallucinating or like, but then I was watching, have you guys watched Bodkin yet on Netflix?
No.
It's so good.
it? Okay.
It's so great.
Okay.
It's like it's like a true crime podcasting show.
Yes.
And it's Will Forte, and he's a podcaster, and he goes to Ireland to tell this like podcasting story, this true crime story. But in that show, they talk about, there's like an Irish like folklore about a thing that is like almost like your doppelganger. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, is it like something like that? Or was it like a glitch in the like,
right
Matrix that like made another Casey show up? Like, what was it? And he's not like a woo-woo guy.
Yeah.
He's very down to earth. Like, he would never make this kind of thing up. Isn't that crazy?
That is so crazy. That stuff really, really freaks me out when it is like the doppelgangers or like, like kind of like a different timeline or something.
Yeah, like a copy of a dimension like coming in on yours or something.
Yeah. Whoa.
I think that is truly disturbing, because if it were like, because you've also probably heard of mimics.
No, tell me.
So like a mimic is something that like, it usually works like this. Someone will be home alone, and then they're like hear their mom or their sibling, and they'll be like, I didn't think they were here, but they'll like hear them talking or like coming, or like see them pass by, and then some time will pass and that person will actually arrive home, and they're like, wait, you weren't here? And they're like, no, I wasn't here. I was at work or whatever. And so it's like, wait, why did I see or hear this person that wasn't here?
Yes. I have heard of this.
But
I didn't know it was called mimics though. Yeah.
It would be very stupid for a mimic to do that to you. And it's like,
wait, sorry.
Wait, wrong room.
Yeah. It's like another thing that I just recently heard or read about was like the idea of when somebody has deja vu, they're actually remembering something that has already happened that they just haven't experienced yet. So like it's a memory of something that's already happened. They just haven't done it yet because of the way time actually isn't linear.
Oh, yeah.
And so like, hearing like your mom's voice before she's actually home, I wonder if like is something like that.
Yes.
Like a cross stream kind of.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So crazy.
Yeah, deja vu is so weird to me, and I get it pretty often.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. There was one trip, I went to Europe a couple of years ago, and I got it like almost every other day. There was like a moment where it was just like, I'm deja vuing again. And like my friends who I was traveling with were just like, what's happening? I was like, it's so crazy feeling.
Weird. I wonder if you were actually a European in a past life.
Oh, yes. Probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I was a Swiss cow or something. That would be awesome.
Just like
That's cool.
having no worries. In
Yeah,
the
no,
sun,
just like
eating grass.
eating grass on the Alps, like just having the
Sounds
best
great.
time.
Yeah.
Just being like, I'm gonna make so much cheese.
I'm making so much good
They're
cheese.
not even ready for the amount of cheese I'm about to make.
It's crazy. It's
Do you
nutso.
believe in like past lives and stuff and all of that?
You know, like when you hear those stories about kids, because they always say that like the time frame is like pretty small, and then the older a kid gets, like the less likely they are to remember their past lives.
Yeah.
And when they're like, I've watched documentaries and stuff about stories of like this 4-year-old that like speaks German for no reason and like remembers his wife and like shit like that, and like I'm always like, yeah, right, cool. Like this could be a thing. Like I don't know if I'd believe it if my kid came to me and was like, "Hey, I'm Japanese and my ex-wife," like shit like that. But,
Yes.
But I mean, it seems like I don't know. I mean, I feel like being able to live for like 80 years or however long humans usually live, it's like it just doesn't seem like long enough. So I do feel like either I think that we exist for all time, like before and after our life on Earth, but I don't know if I believe that we have other lives.
Okay. Yeah. It's wild. It's fun to think about, and also just like, oh my God, what does all this mean?
Yeah, it's better than just dying and then being like, well, that's the end of that.
Well, and what's time anyway? Like maybe that's what happened to your friend. That like it's like that was just time happening again, and it got, like you said, got crossed.
Yeah, because one of the other stories that I was thinking of when I knew I was going to talk to you guys is another like mimic situation, which is weird because I'd never thought that I had a lot of these, but I guess I do now that I have Casey's too. Is when I was a kid, my grandparents lived in St. Louis, and they lived in this, as my dad's parents, and they lived in this old house, and the upstairs, like there was like a little loft area that was like kind of in the attic, but you would access it just like up a flight of stairs, and it was like my grandpa's study, and the only thing up there was just this one little room, and it was like like had like peaks, like
Yes.
it was obviously like it had been the roof, I mean the attic, is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Attic at some point. And so we would go up there, and he was always up there doing his work, and that's a place where like I would go and like hide and play and stuff. And there was a story that my sister had, somebody in the family told me that like they had seen him walking down the stairs from the study, but then he was like actually in the kitchen. And so it was like, that couldn't have been Grandpa because he's right there. Like shit like that. So, and I was always like, I don't know. My whole family had a lot of weird stories about that house, but I was too young, I think, to know like what was happening there, because I was 10. Like when my grandparents moved out of that house. And also like my uncles and my dad and my sister all had lots of scary stories about that house, but also they were all on, I think, a lot of drugs at the time.
Oh.
So it's like, how reliable are any of these stories?
Funny.
Do you remember any of their other stories from that house, or?
There was like my uncle, my dad's youngest brother was like pretty young, and he was closer to my sister's age. And so he was like still a teenager, I think, but my dad was like already a dad and had both of his kids. And he lived in the basement of their house. He had like a pretty cool pad down there too with a waterbed.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet. And this was like must have been like the late 70s, early 80s. And he had some stories about waking up and seeing like a giant horrifying like face, and I was like, you were hammered, so maybe that's what you were seeing. But I remember my sister saying like they would see like monstrous things just that were kind of like wavy images like on when they would, it would happen in the basement. I do remember the basement being kind of creepy, but basements are creepy. You know what I mean? It was a creepy unfinished basement that had a waterbed in it. So it's a scary place.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it was always seeing some kind of like monstrous like apparition.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know what? I've been wasted a few times in my life. Never seen anything.
I've
This
never
is
seen
true.
monsters.
This
but-
is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of hallucinogens, and I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, I mostly just talk a little too much shit.
Yeah, same.
Never been.
Same.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, good point.
I wonder what the deal with that house. What's the deal with that
Yeah,
house?
that's
Like,
I don't know.
Spooky.
And my sister and my uncle just went up there to see my great aunt, and they went by the old house.
Yeah.
And sent pictures to all of us and the classic stuff where you're just like, oh my God, it's so little, and I remember it being so big.
Right.
But everybody had weird stories about that house, but I don't have any memory of it because I was just too
Yeah.
little.
yeah.
St. Louis, that's where the Exorcist house is.
It is.
Something's up with that big arch, I
Right.
think.
Yeah, and apparently my grandparents' neighborhood, the mayor, the actor that played the mayor of Munchkinville, lived
Yeah.
in that neighborhood.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Whoa.
yeah.
That's so funny. That's
Yeah.
what a
It had to
fun
have been
fact.
a long time before I was born because that movie was made in like the 20s, right?
Yeah, it's old. 30 something.
Wait, Judy
30s.
Garland, isn't it? No?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And she was
I gotta
in,
look at,
Watch
like,
The Wizard of
PG-13 or something.
Oz.
Yeah.
I've seen it. When was it made? The Wizard of Oz was made in 39.
Oh, okay, so later than I thought. Because there's also that weird story. Have you guys heard about this? About the guy that like if you watch it, you can see like the dangling feet of somebody that hung themselves on set.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that real though?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. There's a fun on Shudder, the like horror movie streamer. They have a 2-part series or like 2 seasons of cursed films where they talk about all of like the classic like
I gotta watch.
poltergeist, and all the stories of these cursed movies, and they do a Wizard of Oz episode, and it's pretty fascinating.
Right, because like the Tin Man's like lung collapsed and like all kinds of shit went
Right.
wrong on that movie.
And they were painting him with, or no, the witch.
And the
they were
witch.
They were painting her with like lead paint, right?
It'll be fine.
What a wild time to be
Crazy. Yeah, I heard
alive.
something, too about I saw this on Pinterest, so who knows how true it is. But it was about how like for a certain period of time that I think was around this time, you never saw women in green dresses because the dye that they used to make green, whatever they used to make green dye was like poisonous. And so that it became like popular again and like really popular because they were like, finally we can have green dresses. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. Like, I don't know the actual like information. That's a lot. Most of the stuff that I know is like I kind of know something, and I'm
Hey.
like, I don't know if it's true, and I don't
Perfect
remember
for
what I
our
said.
podcast. That's what we do. We're always like, I think I heard somewhere, and then we're like, we're not looking it up. We're just gonna say it.
There's no
Saying
fact
it.
checking. No.
No.
Like, yeah.
No, that's for other people to do, not for me.
Yeah,
I
that's
go
for
on
nerd
vibes.
podcast, man.
Yeah, this is a vibe. This story feels correct.
Great. I'm in good company.
Yeah. Also, like I saw this thing about how in the actual tornado scene of Wizard of Oz, that she's like in black and white and then walks into the color, right? When she opens the door in Oz.
Yes, and they did it practically.
Yes, they did it practically. They put her in like gray clothing and a gray, like a black wig or whatever. Not black, but whatever. Like
Yeah, like her stunt double or something. And then, sorry, I saw it too, Marcy. I saw it on Instagram, like
Yeah,
the
the
behind the
stunt-
scenes of how they did it.
And the dog, luckily, was just a black dog, so it
Good
didn't.
for him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
good
because
job,
she's holding,
Toto.
she's holding Toto, and then just sort of like passes off to the color Dorothy, so you don't see that part. But isn't that cool?
That's so cool. I miss like practical effects. Like it's so cool and fun. When I was a young actor, and I was like, when you're in your 20s, you have like all kinds of energy to do shit that you'd never do when you're in your 40s.
Yeah.
And I was like 25 or something, and it was Halloween, and me and my boyfriend at the time, we got invited to a Halloween party, and I was like, we're gonna dress up as Lucy and Ricky, but we're gonna go in black and white. And he was like, okay, whatever. And like we dyed his hair black, and I had all this, like, we did like our makeup, and we weren't good at it by any means, but it was a pretty cool idea. I wish I don't even know if I have pictures of it because nobody had smartphones back then, so we didn't actually take pictures.
That's such a cool idea.
it was
That's
really cool.
awesome.
Yeah, I was thinking of too, like the idea of practical. I think, and this time of year being Halloween time, the first season of Haunting of Hill House, when they have that one long shot that's like,
Yes.
I forget what episode it is, but it's like it's shot so crazy.
It's like the whole episode, right? Is one shot. Oh my gosh, that's so nuts.
Yeah,
Could you
it's
imagine?
insane. That's a good rewatch for anyone
Yeah,
else.
that
Like,
would be a
Yeah.
fun rewatch.
That's a good idea. Like, imagine how much rehearsal and imagine the pressure, like, of not being the person that fucks it up. Oh my God.
God.
Wow.
I guess though it's like, okay, it's like what? That's a 42-minute scene you have to film, and it's
Yeah.
like a play, right? So
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like doing theater. Yeah. And I'm sure there were things that people are like, well, I would have done it differently, but, that's what we got.
I did not say that line right, but they're going to use it. Okay.
I guess you're like, look, we're doing this 12 times today, so I hope you get
yeah.
it right.
Yeah.
But
Wild.
yeah, but I guess they probably did it for a week or two, like, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's one episode, usually.
that's nuts.
That is so nuts.
What if they like,
nuts.
we kind of got it in the first one, guys? It's a wrap.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Let's go.
Everybody just keeps working for the rest of the week.
Amber, do you dabble in like the world of psychics or anything like tarot and stuff? Like, has that ever?
A little bit. So because I live in Atlanta, I'm only a 7-hour drive from New Orleans, which is like one of my favorite cities on earth. So my husband's Canadian, and when he moved to Atlanta, I was like, you've got to see like all the things, like all the places that I grew up driving to. And so I took him to New Orleans, and he was like, this is my place. Like he fell in love with it. He's not like a Vegas guy, he's like, I want the debauchery, but I also want like some like history.
Right.
So whenever I would go to New Orleans, I would usually do like a tarot reading. Also, we're really close to Charleston, which is another very old, like spooky town.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I always do ghost tours because that's like my number one thing that I do when I go to a city.
Yes.
But tarot readings and like I've definitely seen psychics, but always in like a tourist capacity. Like I've never gone to one in my own town.
Okay.
But I have friends. One of my really good friends, Amanda, is actually an incredible tarot reader. And part of what makes her so great at it is that she is a therapist. So she has this ability to like cross these two worlds in a way that like she would never do it professionally for anybody, but like for friends, she's like, let's just chat it out. And she also like knows us all. So the people she does readings for, it's like, it's so crazy because she really knows you and she's a therapist and she understands tarot.
Yeah.
And so I think like with a lot of things, because I'm not like a particular like astrology person either, but like everything can be like meaningful if you let it be meaningful, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, if you are looking for that meaning, then when you find it in whatever capacity, it's like, that's good for you then. Like, whether it's paranormal or just a mental thing where it's like, I am looking for meaning. I need to find meaning.
Yeah.
Whoa. These cards gave me the meaning. Perfect. Great. That's all that matters. Whoa. The moon just gave. Great.
Yes. If it makes you feel like happier, more settled, and more seen and secure in the world, it's like, great, whatever you got to do,
Yeah.
Because I have friends, like, I have some friends that are like kind of witchy. And so one of my friends started a yoga studio that's also like, it's called Conjure, and it's like yoga and ritual. So they do yoga classes, but they also do rituals. So I went to the last ritual that happened, which was like, I can't remember what it was. It was like the one that happens in early fall, and like the first harvest one. So there's like a lot of wheat stuff, and like, so we went, and the first thing we did was like built an altar, and like, so all this stuff, I'm like, I'm not particularly like into it or even understand it, but I'm like, how can I not enjoy this? Like all these witchy people, like this community is cool. And, so it was just like stuff like that. Definitely it feeds me in some way or another. I don't always know how, but I'm like, it's definitely not doing anything bad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that, like, it entertaining,
Yeah.
if nothing else. Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
fun.
Totally. And I took another one of my friends that's kind of witchy, and so she got a lot out of it because she's also like, she's like, oh, I brought some like marigolds from my yard for the harvest. You know, it's like,
Oh,
great.
that's so
It's awesome.
nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I do my own I have a few little rituals that I'll do like every month kind of things, you know. So
Yeah,
like I
I
always
think it's
blow
cool.
cinnamon into my front door on the 1st.
What is that? What does that do?
It invites abundance into your life. Just you put cinnamon in your hand and go blow it into
Your
the
house?
door. Yeah, from the front door.
Okay.
Say I invite abundance in, and it takes no time.
great.
It's just and you
Yeah.
aren't supposed to clean it up for 24 hours. So,
Okay.
but that's
And you do it at a certain time?
I just do it when I wake up on the 1st or the 1st of the month.
That's great.
Bring it in. It's so
Yeah.
funny too because I have a friend who I always remind my friends, like, do it even if you don't believe. It doesn't hurt. And I have a friend that's like, I'm too busy. I can't. Like, she always complains that she doesn't have time to do it. I'm like, you're
How much time
Crazy.
does it
Blow in
take?
some cinnamon. Come on.
there. No time.
I
No
gotta
time.
put it on my calendar.
You gotta buy the cinnamon. I guess that's part of it.
Yeah. I also have like there's a few like because from going to New Orleans, I have like a few like voodoo things that are like spell like little satchels that are full of whatever, and one's for like wealth and one's for prosperity and one's for the fertility one. I was like, let's get that out of here. So I have different ones in different places around my house, and we had people come over and clean our house, and the cleaner called me and he's like, hey, I found this like thing under your bed. And I was like, it's cool. Like, it's just some voodoo shit. And he's like, oh, okay, cool.
That's so funny. Be like,
Hey.
I think someone's trying to put a hex on you. I'm so sorry. Ooh.
Totally.
When you've been on like these ghost tours and stuff, has anything like happened ever?
Not that I remember, but I will
Yeah.
say that my favorite type of ghost tour guide
Yes.
is like, especially in New Orleans, is like, you know, you're like, oh, when's our guide going to get here? And then like through the mist, you see like a man in a top hat and like a long trench coat.
That's him,
and
a cane,
mustache,
like,
and you're
yes.
oh, yes, that must be our tour guide. Yeah, I've never seen anything, but I do love, that's the other thing I love about it, is the theatricality of it all. Is it's just like,
Yes.
what is life without some show people here and there? You
Oh,
know?
yeah. And getting to learn about the place you are, where it is like, wow, everywhere had cholera. Okay, cool. Like,
It's a much more fun way to learn about history. And one of the places, one of the tours I went on, I think it might have been in Charleston. It was like the dark side of the city. It wasn't necessarily a ghost tour, and they talked about like prostitution and like different things that happened during the city. And one of the things I learned about that I thought was so awesome is that sex workers back in the day, like I don't know, maybe like the 1800s, would just carry a mattress on their back, so that when they were ready to get to work, they just had their mattress.
they could be anywhere.
Isn't that crazy?
I've
That's
heard that as like a
wild.
joke before, but I didn't know that was real.
That's what the tour guide said. Who knows if it's real or not? But, yeah.
Whoa.
Now, have you ever gone to a ghost tour in Savannah? Because that is a place I've always wanted to go to, Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah.
It's so great. You've got to go. Because it's like, it's all, what I love about it, same thing with Charleston and New Orleans, to be honest, is it's like a coastal southern town.
Mm-hmm.
So Savannah is so incredibly beautiful because of the Spanish moss. They also have that. Well, they actually don't have it do they have it in Charleston? Maybe not. I think they have it mostly in Savannah. And it's funny because like in Atlanta, we're too far north to have it. And there's been so much shooting that's been happening in Atlanta. Sometimes you'll drive down an old street and there's Spanish moss in the trees, and it's just because they're shooting something and they're trying to make it look like Savannah. But it's cool because Savannah's like really affordable because it's a college town, and it's an arts town because of the SCAD is there, the Savannah School of Art and Design.
Yes.
So there's just all these like very cool like college kids that are just like artists in this like old coastal town. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it if you ever
I
get a chance.
rewatched it in Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil like a year or two ago, and I was like, doesn't hold up. There's
Oh really? Okay, I haven't watched it in a long time.
but it's a good book and stuff too.
Yeah.
and I think Chablis steals the show. It's a trans drag performer who they had the real woman play herself in the movie, and she's so cool.
Wow.
But it's funny about Spanish moss, though, because I'm from Louisiana, and my parents are moving to Alabama, and my mom was just like, do they have Spanish moss? She's like, can I bring it? Is it okay if I brought some with me?
It's like it becomes like an invasive species.
I think it actually
you ruined Alabama. That is so cute.
So is it all over Louisiana, like coastally? There's Spanish moss everywhere?
When I was younger, we had a lot of Spanish moss, and then I think it did go away for a while, but we were in St. Francisville, and they had it there in the trees. But Mom was like, because Mom was saying when she was a kid, they had so much of it in their yard, in the trees in their yard, and then it just, I don't know, like went away. I don't know, like I think there was like a blight or something. So,
Wow.
but it's a fungus, I think, right? I don't know.
I don't know.
I have no
That's
idea.
fascinating, though. It's so beautiful, but yeah.
It is. It's like, it's very like, yeah, like there's a gothic romance to it in a way.
Yeah, totally.
Now, did you grow up in Georgia?
Yeah, I grew up in Atlanta. My mom's from here, and my dad is from St. Louis, so that's why his parents lived there. And my mom grew up, the little area of Atlanta that I live in is called Cabbagetown, and it's this little, it's in the middle of the city, but it's this little mill town. So Cabbagetown should totally be haunted. I haven't experienced it, but it's such an old little town, because there was this cotton mill. It was called the Fulton Bag Mill, I think. So it was like a cotton mill, and they made like bags for like grains and all different kinds of stuff. And the mill is still here in Cabbagetown, and it's now it's like expensive condos, but it still overlooks all the houses in Cabbagetown. All the houses were mill workers' houses. So they're all really tiny and like shotgun houses. And ours is right on the outskirts, and ours isn't a historic house. It was actually built in like 2003 or something, but it looks old. But it's such a cool little part of town. And I'm like, maybe I need to be a ghost tour guide.
You should. Just make stuff up.
Yeah.
Were there like any like urban legends from where you grew up, or in Georgia in general, Atlanta?
Yeah, like the one that I think of that comes to mind most recently, because I've heard a lot about it, is Lake Lanier. So have you heard about Lake Lanier?
Yes.
Did
they cover up a town?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was it was like a booming town that was like mostly black community, and it was like a great place, and then they fucking drowned it. They drowned the town. Like, not and everything is still there. All the buildings, they just flooded it, and so. Well, I'll let you go, because...
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is because, like, all the trees, all the buildings, so there's parts of it where when there's drought and the water level is low, like, it can be pretty dangerous, because, like, you could get hung up in the top of a tree that's underneath you in this lake. So it is a pretty dangerous lake, so part of the reason why people think it's haunted is because there's so many accidents and so many drownings, but also it's like, well, maybe it's just because there's a whole town underneath here that's like grabbing things, but also it could be that like there's a lot of people that were pissed because this town got
that
drowned.
Energy or whatever it does.
And there were some like racially motivated crimes that happened there, because it wasn't that long ago that the town was still existed. And so it has I was looking it up recently because I have another podcast where we recap like Housewives and stuff, and we were rewatching the first season of Atlanta, Housewives of Atlanta, and they go to Lake Lanier, and I was like, this is fascinating, especially because this is one of the first like majority black franchise of Housewives. So like the fact that they went there, and it was just like, and that like a spooky thing happened, and I was like, it's Betsy, there have been, I think, like they attribute over 700 deaths to like drownings and otherwise, like boats that like burst into flames because of like maybe hitting a power line that wasn't fully out. You know, like it's crazy stuff.
Yeah, and like growing up too, especially in the 70s and 80s, it was like you go to Lake Lanier because it's not that far from the city. It's like maybe like an hour and a half from Atlanta and the suburbs. And so you go to Lake Lanier, and for sure your drunk dad or your drunk uncle is like high speed driving a boat. So it was like also very packed full of dangerous drunk boaters. So like so many, and people like water skiing and shit, and like so much, like so many boating accidents too. Yeah. People always die. Like, we stopped going there when I was a kid because it was just like, you can't, why would you do that? Like, somebody in your family's going to die if you go there on Labor Day.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I mean, essentially, like, it's considered one of the most, haunted places.
Lakes are, like, hard to swim in and stuff, too, I just have been learning. Like, where...
It's spooky. It's like, what the hell's in here?
Yes. Whoa.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's very spooky.
Yeah.
Wait, why are lakes harder to swim in?
I just have learned that. Like, they're different density or something, so it's like way harder to swim in a lake than...
Oh, is it like the salination? Like, there's not as much salt, so you don't have the buoyancy?
Probably something like that, yeah. But it's
we don't know. This is a classic one of those things.
This is a good example of I
heard
it, dude. I heard it.
We're water scientists, and we're here to tell you.
Yes. You're listening to Water, the podcast.
And there's also a great Instagram page. I think it's Lake Lanier Official, and it's somebody that's a comedian that tweets as if they're Lake Lanier, and it's very political. It's very like, it's great. Check it out. Like, it's hilarious. Whenever something happens in the news, Lake Lanier Official has big things to say about it. So it's a pretty interesting little Instagram page.
That's so funny.
I think the first time I heard about Lake Lanier was a few years ago on TikTok. There's a woman who does Spooky Lake Month in October. It's like Spooky Lake Month. And so she just talks about spooky and gives them like a rating 1 through 10 of like how spooky it is.
Funny. Lakes are spooky.
They're spooky.
Where I grew up, there's Lake Dillon, and they built a big dam and then drowned the original town of Dillon. So there are still buildings in Lake Dillon, which is so weird to me.
It's so crazy. There's so much land that's not a town all over the country.
Yes.
Why do they always have to drown towns to make these,
Because the rest of Lake Dillon is huge, where it's like, can't you just spare another, like, a couple, like, just give that town some miles. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
And, like, one of the things about Lake Lanier is they had a campaign so people wanted to drain the lake and then actually level it and then fill it back up again so that it would not keep killing everyone.
So boats won't explode on electric lines.
Could you imagine how cool it would be if they drained the lake, though, and, like, before they leveled it to see, like, what all's in there?
Wild.
Well,
probably so many bodies.
Yeah.
Because that's also the thing with Lake Tahoe, you know.
Oh, really?
That Lake Tahoe is it's cold, and so the bodies don't decompose at the same rate, so they don't fill with gas and float to the top. So they're like they believe there's all these bodies that are at the bottom that sunk, that never rose back up, and they're like kind of intact still.
Ew.
That's crazy.
That's so
It's
crazy.
like bog mummies where they're just like mummified because of the conditions of the water they're in. It's just like so crazy.
So spooky. Lake Mead, which is by Vegas, is a bit. They did a Ghost Adventures on Lake Mead. It might have been a double parter, dude. Because that's a place where like a lot of like mafia will just go toss bodies in there and stuff. Like,
yeah. Oh my God.
I have a crazy stance on that. I don't think killing people. I don't like. I think it's lame. I don't like it.
That's your stance. Don't kill people. I like that.
I don't like it at all.
Be careful, but I like that.
I'm not cool with it.
It's not for me. I just don't think I don't think that's for us. Like, you know. Do you have time to listen to one of our listeners' stories?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay, I'm going to pull one up right now.
Okay.
Yes.
Hi, Marcy. Hi, Betsy. I just wanted to send in a voice recording since you guys were asking for more of them. So just wanted to tell you about how I think my grandma was playing a prank on me from beyond. So maybe 2 years ago or so at this point, I was, getting inspired from listening to you guys all the time. And I always kind of felt like I was a little closed off to spirits, and I feel like they know that they are not going to come to me because they know that I'm iffy, I believe, but surface level. And so I was trying to maybe make a step toward opening up a connection a little bit. And so I did this goofy little thing in my apartment where I picked an item that I own that either belonged to or was given to me by or something, reminded me of a person in my life who has passed, 2 grandparents, an aunt, and a friend of mine. And I took all these items and I put them in one corner of the room. There were 4 items. And I kind of sat down and made a blanket statement out loud that, talking to each of them, that if they were there with me, that what I wanted them to do to show it was overnight, I wanted them to move their object into the middle of the living room floor. I had a rug there, so in the middle of the rug. And I said, I don't want you to wake me up. I don't want you to scare me. I don't want to know that you're here when you're here. But I want to wake up tomorrow morning and find your object in the middle of the room and know that you were here with me. So I did that, left all the objects where they were, and woke up the next morning, nothing was there. So, no biggie, whatever. So I, collect all the objects, go ahead and put them away. Great. One of the objects was a ring that my grandmother had given me. So I put it back in my jewelry box, forgot about it. I don't wear it very often because her fingers were much smaller than mine and it doesn't really fit me. So maybe 6 months later or so, I got a new jewelry box and went to empty out my old one and transition everything into my new one. And I, in that process, couldn't find this ring that was my grandmother's. And I don't really wear a lot of rings, so I have 2 of them. So it was very obvious that it wasn't there. And I was like, oh, how weird. I know I did that weird thing, but that was months ago. And I know I put it back in here. It's not in the living room. There's no way. I searched the living room. I searched the dresser it's on. I searched all the drawers. Did it fall into a drawer? Did it fall behind the dresser? I look everywhere I can think of to look. Nothing. Can't find it. And, I was a little upset, but I was like, I'm not going to panic. There's no way a burglar came in and stole only one ring from my house. It's here somewhere. And so I don't wear it. I don't need it immediately. Someday when I am moving out, I will be cleaning stuff up and I will find it. No worries. So kind of just put it out of my mind. Again, sort of forgot about it. So, and I mentioned it to my mom, that I had, whatever, that I'd lost it. No big deal. I know I'll find it. Great. So probably a year goes by, 1.5 years maybe. And I am moving out of the apartment. So I'm in the process of cleaning stuff up, throwing things out, whatever. And I am packing all my things away. And I had bought a new jewelry mirror stand for my new apartment. So I no longer need this jewelry box. My sister had given it to me. I didn't need it anymore, whatever. I'm cleaning it out to take it to Goodwill so I can put everything in my new fancy jewelry mirror. So I open the box and I'm taking all the jewelry out, and right there in one of the little ring slots is my grandma's ring. And I have not opened the story box like a huge amount of times, but within the last year and a half or so, I had definitely opened it numerous times and had never seen it. It wasn't in some weird side hidden pocket somewhere. Like, it was right in the ring slot where it was supposed to be. And I never once in my life put this ring in this jewelry box. The jewelry box was new when I couldn't find the ring. So I never once personally myself put this ring in this jewelry box. And out of nowhere, it was just there. And so I am thrilled that I found it. But part of me just kind of feels like my grandma was, you know, she said, I don't want to play by the rules you set, but I'm going to move this ring around anyway. And she was a little bit of an ornery person in life, so not really surprising that maybe she was a little ornery in death as well. But, you know, I told my mom, and she is also, you know, a little bit skeptical potentially, but we both felt a little bit like maybe she was with us, or at least with me for that day, and it made me feel a little better. But so that's all. That's my story. A little bit of a heartwarming one, a little less spooky. But I hope you guys have a great day.
Wow.
Fun.
That's great. Yeah.
That's so funny to be like in a brand, or not a brand new, but like a new jewelry box. That's nuts.
To know she never put it in there, and it was never in there. Like, it was.
Yes.
Yeah. It's the only thing that came to mind was like, did she have a roommate that borrowed it and then you put it back?
Yeah.
You know, like, could be something like that. But also, it made me think of, like, when we were talking about time, you know, maybe her grandmother was trying to play it the right way, but time just works differently
Right.
in the afterlife. And so it took her this long to get somewhere else.
Like a year
know?
and a half to be like, I was doing what you wanted me to do.
Also, the way that they were so patient about, like, I know I'll find it.
I know.
And also the idea to be like, here's how I want you to communicate with me. I'm setting the terms. I would like you to move something. I don't want you to wake me up. I like that.
Yeah.
Or scare me. Yeah. Like, I would never think to do any of this. So I thought it was great.
Yeah, I was like, hey, that's a really good idea.
Cool.
It's all
Because
about
I want to
boundaries.
know if somebody's with me, but I also do not want to, like, wake up and they're sitting on my bed and be like, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't write a message on the mirror after I take a shower. That's too scary.
Do you remember years ago for my birthday, I had a friend of the podcast, Adela Levine, do readings for my birthday. And so, like, I had, like, a small group of people, and then she just did readings for everyone, like, individually. And then I had, like, offhand, she was like, do you want an intuitive reading or do you want a mediumship reading? And I was like, oh, we can just do intuitive because anyone who wants to talk to me can. And she's like, be careful saying that because they will. And then for, like, days after, I was like smelling my aunt and then my grandmother, and I was just like freaked out. And then also,
Did your
What were you gonna
mom
say?
call? Sorry.
well, my mom had, I'd said out loud, I don't want to see you. I love you guys, and I could tell you're here, but I don't want to see you, and I don't want to be scared. You could communicate in a dream if you want, but I don't want this, basically. And then my mom was like, your aunt was here, and this is Louisiana. And I was like, oh, that's my fault because I told her to come here, but then I was like, no, please don't be here. And so
Marcy, I wonder if, like, when we were talking about how people that, like, are more open to things are more likely to see things, but I wonder if it works the same way on the other side, where it's like not everybody would come back, not everybody would haunt, or, you know, so it's also like, does it also have to be on their side something that they would choose, and not just anybody can do it or would do it?
Right. I've never thought of that. Because I could see people being like, I don't need to, or I don't want to, you know,
like I don't care for any of those people that I left behind.
or
I'm ready
think
to
of it,
get on with it.
if you are a skeptic in life, you might not even think you could do it. Like you might not, it might not come to mind.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I think we always believe that the moment someone dies, they have all the information that ever existed and that they know answers to everything and that they can, like, that people will say, like, oh, they had a dream about their grandmother and they were given a message. And maybe that's the case. But, like, why would we just assume that, like, all of a sudden you have everything is unlocked for you?
Yeah.
Right.
Because if
know.
somebody wasn't wise in life, it's not probably true that they'll be wise after life either. You know, like
Right.
like you said, they don't all of a sudden like have all the answers. That's
Yeah.
really interesting to think about.
Right.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Think about stupid ghost.
Yeah. They have to exist. They do
Oh.
exist. They do exist.
Yeah. One of my favorite, this psychic James Van Prague. It's one of my favorite stories. He tells about because he does cold readings and stuff. And he was talking about there was like a woman in the front row, and her, I think, grandmother had passed, but her grandmother was a bigot, like kind of rough. And he's like, yeah, she's here, and he's like, she's kind of still like that. And he's like, but interestingly, like she had a spirit guide with her, like someone who's on the other side who's supposed to help, like you figure it out. And she was like, it's like like a man, like a rabbi with like the hat and the curls. And she was like, and it just interesting that like that's who on the other side, like someone that she would not have liked, was like trying to help her understand like kind of the error of her ways, essentially.
Whoa.
Interesting. Because if the afterlife is just an extension of life on Earth, it's like you're gonna still learn lessons. You're still gonna like there's still development to be had, and like that's so interesting because it's like you're not just like floating around doing nothing. Like it's so cool to think about what it like what she was up to and what she was having to do, and that she was still having to like have her beliefs challenged.
Right.
It's like when do we get to rest?
Yes.
Not until you
Never.
stop being a bigot. So that's a good reason not to be one in
There
life.
you go.
Wow.
Man, Amber, this has been so fun.
Yeah,
Thank
you guys are
so
great.
much.
I loved hanging out with you guys. You're totally my husband. His name's Kevin, and we were just talking the other day about like people that are your speed, and I was like, you guys are my speed.
This is
Same. Same. This ruled.
Tell everyone where they can find you and your podcast.
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at Amber C. Nash, and you can find our podcast at RePHRASING Pod on Instagram. Our podcast is everywhere you can get podcasts, and we're joining Maximum Fun this season, so that's really exciting. So you can go to MaximumFun.org and get us there. Yeah, that's probably all the places that you can find me right now.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It was so much fun.